Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's foraging showcase video, we are learning about a plant that is very famous for its amazing medicinal roots. Of course, I am talking about none other than American ginseng. Now, ginseng got its botanical name from Linnaeus, the father of botany. The word panax is actually derived from the Greek word meaning all healing or cure-all. Now, ginseng itself is actually an English given name derived from the Chinese term ren shen. Ren meaning man, and shen meaning a type of herb. It's given this name because the root of the ginseng plant actually resembles a little man, arms, legs, and all. Okay, now that I got the terminology out of the way, let's learn how ginseng was discovered. Now, the story of how American ginseng was originally discovered actually started all the way over in China with its sister plant, Panax ginseng. Panax ginseng was originally discovered 5,000 years ago in the northern mountains of China. The first documentation of this plant was actually made by Emperor Shen Nong, and his studies and testing of the plant led to its growing popularity and high value. So much so that in the year 221B, another emperor by the name of Shang-Chi ordered a massive military force of 3,000 foot soldiers into the northern mountains just to hunt and dig up all that ginseng. Panax ginseng was virtually hunted to extinction at this point, and it is incredibly rare to find wild plants growing in China. The popularity and the medicinal uses of ginseng caught the attention of famous explorer Marco Polo. Marco Polo eventually documented all the medicinal uses for ginseng root, and this information caught the attention of a French Jesuit priest named Father Jourteau. Father Jourteau did his own research into the plant, and then theorized that it was possible for ginseng to grow over in the New World, specifically the North American continent. This theory intrigued another fellow French Jesuit priest by the name of Lafitau. Lafitau lived over on the North American continent and was staying with the Iroquois people. After an extensive search, Lafitau discovered the plant in 1716 with the help of the Mohawk people. Turns out, several different Native American tribes used ginseng root for medicinal purposes, just like people in China. From that point on, the ginseng export trade worked hand in hand with the fur trade, with many early explorers like Daniel Boone and entrepreneur John Jacob Astor all taking part in exporting the roots over to China. It has actually been said that exporting ginseng is how John Astor made his fortune. Several years after the Revolutionary War had taken place, ginseng was still highly valued over in China, and the very first vessel to sail under a U.S. flag left New York Harbor in 1784. Its destination? China, with over 30 tons of ginseng. Ginseng root benefits include an increase of energy production in cells, helps reduce inflammation, and is also an antioxidant as well. Ginseng root also benefits mental function. It calms people's mood, including those who are battling with Alzheimer's. It improves erectile dysfunction by decreasing oxidative stress and increasing blood flow. It may also strengthen the immune system of people who are currently battling cancer, as well as decreasing the risk for people having cancer. It also helps produce insulin in the body and appears to have no negative side effects as of right now, although doctors warn caution if taking it with other medications. Well, according to this, it says that ginseng is believed to increase dermal cells on the scalp, promoting hair strength and rejuvenation of lost hair. I just might have to try this out. So the primary location that you need to be looking for American ginseng is in deciduous woods namely because the plant cannot survive in direct sunlight, so it needs a massive forest canopy to protect it from the sun. The most common terrain that you're going to come across when looking for American ginseng is a north or northeastern facing slope. By north facing, I mean you're standing on top of the slope, looking downward. The direction you're facing, it's north. So the north facing slope is where the plant typically likes to grow. From the top all the way down to the bottom, because the berries will eventually fall off and seed wherever they fall. So you'll have it at the top, you'll have it at the bottom. You might even have some plants in the middle too. Now, taking that into consideration, that is not the only place you can find ginseng, because those berries, those seeds, can be eaten by animals. Deer will eat the berries, so will birds, and wherever they defecate, if it's the right type of shaded area, the plant can grow there. So I've on occasion found plants in different types of slopes and flat areas that I never would have thought we'd find ginseng, but sure enough, there it grew. Another good way to know whether you're in the proper woods or not would be educating yourself about the other types of plants that grow in the same region, same areas. Jack on the pulpit, several different types of ferns, those are a big one. If you see ferns growing in those woods, there's a chance that ginseng could be growing there too. Another one is bloodroot. That's also another plant that is harvested for the roots as well. Not as popular as American ginseng, but it's still got some value to it too. Okay, so here's an example of what ginseng leaves look like. Typically, ginseng leaves will have multiple groupings of 5 leaves. This is just what a one prong, that's what it's called, prongs, would look like. So one prong with all 5 leaves on it. A second prong would have 5 leaves as well, and so on and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and take you guys out there and I'll show you examples of multiple prongs with leaves. Okay, right here is a perfect example of a 3-pronged American ginseng plant. 1, 2, 3. All have 5 sets of leaves. Next one right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another way to identify ginseng in the wild is by the berries that grow on the plant. Now, not every single ginseng plant will have these berries. Typically, it has to be at least a 3-prong to be able to have the flowering head to produce those berries. Okay, so the first common lookalike for ginseng is Virginia creeper. This plant actually has a very similar set of leaves, 5 leaves, but the major difference for this plant is that it doesn't grow as tall. It's usually much smaller, closer to the ground, and these plants are actually all interconnected at the roots in a very ivy-like setting in this photo. So that's nothing like American ginseng. Each plant grows separately from each other. The next common plant is a very infamous plant, and that's poison ivy. Now, don't let this scare you away, because very obviously these are only 3 leaves, and the only ginseng plant that you might get this confused with would be a baby ginseng plant that only has 3 leaves. Now this lookalike is called Jack and Pulpit, which is kind of funny because it really looks nothing like ginseng. However, the plant itself will eventually shrivel away and die, and during that process it'll leave behind its stem and all its fruiting berries, which look like this, very similar to the ginseng berries. So some people will see that thinking it's ginseng, but it's not. That is Jack and Pulpit. Okay everyone, here is a regional map showing all the states and provinces in North America where ginseng is known to grow. Now I can't emphasize this enough, ginseng is a highly protected plant. Most of these states and provinces have their own restrictions and laws in regards to harvesting ginseng. Some of them even make it completely illegal to harvest the plant at all because it is that close to being extinct in that region. So the most important thing for anyone who's interested in harvesting ginseng is knowing the laws for their region and finding out what the restrictions are. Ginseng digging season, like most roots, starts in the fall, and it is actually illegal to dig it early. One of the most common restrictions that most states have is related to the age of the plant. In most regions, the plant has to be at least 5 years old to be allowed to be picked. If it isn't 5 years old and you pick it and then try to sell it, that could get you into a world of hurt legally. The best way to determine the age of a ginseng plant without digging it up would be to look at the number of prongs that the plant has. If it is a 3-pronged plant, then that means it is at least 5 years old. Now, seasoned ginseng veterans will tell you that you can also look at the top of the root and count the notches to determine the age of the plant. But since you don't want to be picking plants that are too young, the quickest and easiest way to determine whether a plant is pickable is by counting the number of prongs. Another restriction is related to the berries of the ginseng plant. If you come across a plant that has the berries or seeds, you are not allowed to take those with you. You're expected to plant them in the ground so that more plants can grow. If you are caught by the DNR with those seeds, you will face severe penalties. There are other restrictions related to transportation, buying and selling of ginseng, but I'm not going to cover that in this video simply because there are so many different laws for so many different states. And this is really just meant to be a general informative video about the ginseng plant. The best advice I can give you guys if you're interested in going out into the woods and foraging for this plant is to learn the laws for your region. I will go ahead and leave a few more links down in the description below showing the common restrictions for harvesting ginseng, although I'm sure any information you need is just a Google search away. Well, everyone, that's all I have for today. Hopefully you learned something new, and hopefully this encourages you to go out into nature and see all the wonderful plants and mushrooms that nature has to offer. Until next time, take care.